Well, welcome to another video, guys. It is Doig and Dennis time. Yes, Doig and Dennis. Sounds like a 1970s sitcom, doesn't it? Or a bad law firm, or a chartered accountants, maybe. I don't know. We're going to talk a little bit of Josh Doig, and we're going to talk a little bit of Emmanuel Dennis. Now, look, I've been off looking at some more stuff, doing some more research into these two players, and let's start off with some not so great news. It looks like the Josh Doig deal is dead. God, that's not easy to say. Josh Doig deal is dead. Josh did. So keep saying, "Now have 5 pints," and then try and say that. Not that I've had 5 pints, you understand. Not this early in the afternoon, anyway. So yeah, the Josh Doig deal looks like it is dead. That is not easy to say because of the fact that, according to Italian media that is coming out at this moment in time, it looks like Doig is on his way to Torino. That looks like a pretty much a done deal, according to a number of Italian newspapers. Which is not great news for Rangers, who reportedly were heavily interested in Josh Doig. There was even talk, obviously, of possibly a swap for Ridvan, but that looks like it is not on the cards. It looks like the Hellas Verona wanted cash, and want Ridvan as the replacement for Josh Doig. That seems to be the case. However, like I said, it now looks like it is a dead deal that he is going to be going to Torino. Yes, it would have been good if he came, if he'd been open to coming, but it does look like that is a done deal, and that Josh Doig will not be coming. Yes, there could be last minute hitches. Yes, there could be changes to that. We all know that with anything in the transfer market, until everyone has signed on the dotted line, anything is entirely possible with these players. They could, like I said, change their mind. They could get a better offer. However, I really don't think that Rangers are in a position to get involved in a bidding war. At this moment, I don't think that we have the finances. I don't think we have the money to certainly do that. Certainly not the money we used to have. And like I said, it does look like it is a situation that it is him off to Torino. That has been reported by Italian media. It is a shame. It is a big shame that if that deal doesn't go through. According to the media now, Rangers have turned their attention to Smaldini. And as I think it was Adam Thornton said on Twitter this morning, how can you not want to sign a player with the nickname Smaldini? G's Smal, as I brought up yesterday. There it is again for you, just in case you didn't know. He seems to be the name that is coming up time and time again now as being at the preferred option at left back. But it is known the club want a centre forward and a left back. Now let's move on to that man, Emmanuel Dennis. Now, Emmanuel Dennis is currently a Nottingham Forest player on loan at a Turkish side, as we know. Look, I've done a bit of research into him, a bit of background into him, found out a bit more information about him, spoken to Nottingham Forest fans about him, found out, just a bit more about this guy. Yes, I was also having a discussion with John Walker of This Is Ibrox as well earlier on Twitter, or X, or whatever it's called these days, about this player. There's comment. I think one of the overriding comments that comes out from fans is he's better than what we've got. Well, you know what? When you've got Sam Lammers, Cyril Dessers, to some degree, Rabbi Matondo, it's not much competition, is it really? That's, like I said before, that's like being voted the best one-legged donkey in a one-legged donkey race. It's not great, So, look, Emmanuel Dennis is still a name that is continually being linked due to the fact that he has had a professional relationship, let's qualify that, with Philippe Clement at Club Bruges. Clement knows the player. But I just want to share some things with you about Emmanuel Dennis that are turning me off this player coming to Rangers. One of the things that has come out a number of times as regards Dennis is his attitude is poor, he is lazy, and he has flattered to deceive massively at Forest. There's really been a letdown due to a very bad attitude. Now, this is obviously something we don't want at the club, especially, given the fact that Philippe Clement has got this team with a much more positive attitude now, a much more win now mentality. And we don't want a player that's going to come in and upset the apple cart. More of the attitude in a minute. Now, I know that Dennis is a winger stroke striker, so he can play right wing, left wing. He can play as a centre forward. So he can play in a variety of the positions across that front three. Now, I've done a bit of research into his goals per game ratio. This is what I found out. Dennis scores one goal every 4.8 games. Cyril Dessers scores 1 goal every 2.7 games. This is across their entire career, by the way. This is across their entire career. And Sam Lammers scores 1 goal every 3.2 games. Now, given the fact that we all agree, I think 99% of us agree that Sam Lammers is utter rubbish and needs to be gone ASAP. And Dessers is someone that seems to again be splitting the fan base. There's some that want to give him the opportunity. Some of us that just think he's an absolute joke of a player. Given the fact that he can't he can't control the ball, he can't hold a ball up. His heading technique's poor. He misses a lot of sitters. He wants too many touches. He can't stay on side. He's got no pace. So there's not a lot going for the lad. To be fair, I mean, he's a nice lad. Don't get me wrong. He's a nice guy. I think that's probably all he's got going for him. But 1 goal every 2.7 games. Now, I know Dennis has played a lot of his career out wide, but a record of 1 goal every 4.8 games, which is a worse record than Cyril Dessers and Sam Lammers, is not exactly a ringing endorsement of this player at all. And I know there's some fans that are excited by him because they've watched the YouTube highlights. But the one thing I'll say about watching YouTube highlights is, if you go and watch YouTube highlights, I bet you can find YouTube highlights somewhere that makes Sam Lammers look like a world beater. I bet you can probably find YouTube highlights that make Sibo look like a world beater, or Sadiq, or anybody look like a world beater, to be honest with you. Even, what was it, that Ali Daei player that Graham Souness once signed in error for Southampton. You probably can find YouTube highlights somewhere of him looking world class. So, let's not go off those highlights too much. You've really got to go. And if you're really talking about scouting a player properly, you've got to watch games and look at those games. And like I said, look, I know that I'm only giving you stats, and this is what we've got to base it on. Look, if he does sign for the club, I will get behind him. I'll back him because I trust Philippe Clement to get this right, and I trust our scouting team. But it's just reading some of these stuff about his statistics, about his form, about his attitude is very, very worrying indeed. Now, this is his career. Across all the league competitions, looking at that in terms of that, in the Premiership for Forest, 22-23, 19 appearances, 2 goals, 2 assists. That's 4. He scored 10 goals in the Premiership in 21-22, which wasn't bad. Bundesliga, not great. Stats in the Belgian Pro League, okay, not amazing. So, he's not a prolific goal scorer. And I think whilst we do need wingers, I do think we need people who are going to score goals. That is our big stumbling block, is putting the ball in the back of the net. Now, I also read this as well, which was about Emmanuel Dennis, which really concerned me as regards the player's attitude. And obviously, when you sign a player, you want a player who's going to come in with a positive can-do attitude, a winning mentality, a good positive attitude. And it seems to me that Emmanuel Dennis has not got that. During his time with Watford, the Super Eagles star scored 7 goals in the Premier League and recorded 3 assists, ended up with 10 goals and 6 assists. Although Dennis's displays could not help Watford escape relegation, it got him a move to another newly promoted Premier League side, Nottingham Forest. Reports say his poor performance is not the only reason why Nottingham Forest are considering selling the Nigerian international, but his attitude has always been a problem ever since he broke out 4 years ago. At Club Bruges, and this is even with Clement, he acted petulantly and was suspended after his teammate sat on his favourite seat. The decision eventually led to his exit, joining FC Cologne on a loan deal. Dennis therefore needs to fix his character issues and over-bloated ego. This is, a report about Emmanuel Dennis, and, I've got no reason to doubt that this is not true, because this is things I've heard from Forest fans. This is, some information I've heard from journos that have reported on him in the past. He seems to have a real attitude issue and a real ego, overinflated opinion of himself as a player. Now, I get that footballers have to be confident. I get that footballers need to believe in themselves, but there's believing in yourself, and then there's thinking that you're Messi when you're clearly not. So this is another thing that really concerns me. I don't want players coming to our club that are going to have an attitude issue, that are going to be as petulant as to kick off over someone sitting in your favourite seat. I mean, that's the sort of thing you would expect from a toddler, not from a grown man. For me, I would steer a very wide, clear berth of this player. Granted, the only reports are very much suggested that, first of all, Nuno Espirito Santo, who is a very astute coach, does not want this player at Forest. So you've got to ask questions of why that is. And the second is that he's interested in terms of the interest in Rangers. It has been very much one way at the moment, with Emmanuel Dennis saying that he wants a move to Rangers. What has sparked this, I don't know. Maybe there's been some indication through his agent or through other parties or third parties that Rangers may be interested. I don't know. But for me, Emmanuel Dennis is a big no-no. The guy just to me seems like someone to steer well clear of. We don't need people coming in who've got an attitude issue. We don't need people coming in who don't score goals. We've already got enough of those as we stand. And like I said, those stats, and I know they're only stats, they tell part of the picture of a player, are poor, considering what a lot of the fan base think of Dessers and Lammers as players. You know, he's got a worse goals to game ratio than those two, which is not great at all. Even if you take out, you know, the fact that Sam Lammers obviously is a 10, he's not an out and out forward, same as Dennis. Sam Lammers has got a better goals to games ratio than him. So for me, it's a big no-no. All right, guys, I wanted to bring you that update this afternoon on a bit of information that I'd found out from doing a bit of research this morning on the two of them. On Doig, obviously looking like he's going to Torino, and Emmanuel Dennis been a big no-no for me. Look, we will stay all over this news, keep on top of any deals, anything coming in. So please obviously continue to check out the channel. The best way to make sure you never miss out is to hit the sub, ring the notification bell. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. And as always, on the way out, if you could do me two favours. Number one, smash the like, it helps. I'd love 1,000 likes on a video. CJ Novo. And also, remember always, we are the people.